What's going on, housemates? Happy Friday. I hope you've had a great week wherever you are living in the world. I know I've had a pretty good week considering that we saw Arsenal win another North London derby on Wednesday 2-1. But I am coming to you tonight to speak about tomorrow's huge game against Aston Villa. Now, I hate to remind us, but I can't, not think about last season's game at the Emirates against Aston Villa. Of course, we lost 2-0 in the run in. And I'm not trying to scapegoat, but I can't help but to think of Leandro Trossard's miss with an open goal. Had he scored that, we could have, in theory, gone on to win the league. So it's a game that I associate with some pain, some deep pain, because I was at that game as well, and it was one of the worst games I've ever witnessed live. But of course, tomorrow is a very different context. It's only January, and we're chasing the league at this point. So, very different, of course, but still going to be a difficult game. Aston Villa are in a decent run of form. They're unbeaten in their last four. They drew with Brighton, and then they've won their last three. All three of them, games that you would expect them to win. 2-1 against Leicester, 2-1 against West Ham, and then 1-0 against Everton. But, they're in a good run of form. And they're a tricky team. And I have to say that, Unai Emery always gives Mikel Arteta a tough game. And so we're going to have to be really careful to, not slip up in this game. And I am a little wary of that. And for me, it's not, it is tactical because Unai Emery knows how to set up against Arteta. In that first half last season, we should have won. We should have put the game to bed in the first half, but then Emery made some brilliant changes in the second half and really took the game to us. So, and then of course, we can't ignore this season's game away at Villa. We won, of course, but it was a very difficult game, and had David Raya not been in incredible form, it could have gone very differently. But thankfully for us, we won the game. And so, we have reason to be confident, especially running, or off the momentum of our win on Wednesday. However, for me, the biggest worry, of course, is fatigue. We have such a thin squad right now. We had more or less the same starting 11 against Newcastle, against United, and then again against Tottenham on Wednesday. So that's three massive games in a very short span. And so, we're definitely running on fumes at this point. Now, the main talking point ahead of tomorrow is the fact that William Saliba is a doubt for the game. So at the end of the Tottenham game, you might remember he made that brilliant run through the middle of the pitch, carried us forward and played a through ball out to, I think it was Martinelli. But then immediately after he completed that run, he jumped in frustration, and then he was seen looking over at the bench and pointing to his leg. Some say it's a hamstring. I don't know exactly what it is, but it seemed like he was concerned about something muscular, and then he wasn't seen in today's training photos. So we might have to be ready for a game without William Saliba. And so, for my starting 11, I'm making two changes from the Tottenham game. I'm sticking with David Raya, of course, but then a back four of Jurrien Timber, Jakub Kivior, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Jakub Kivior hasn't covered himself in glory this season. You think to the Fulham game where we conceded the opener and he was sort of caught out by Raul Jimenez's run. And then, of course, the Carabao Cup game as well, where, Mateta sort of bullied him and he just misjudged the flight of the ball in the opening minutes. But he's still a decent player, and we have to be able to rely on these guys, especially when you consider that Tomiyasu and White are both still gaining fitness. They're not available for selection yet. So we quite literally don't have a choice. You could play Declan Rice at center back, or Kieran Tierney, or Miles Lewis-Skelly, or Calafiori at center back if they're back fit. If you played Timber at center back, of course, that would mean we'd have to play Thomas Partey at right back. And I don't want to touch our midfield. You could also say Miles Lewis-Skelly at right back, I guess, but no, that's too many moving pieces. It's unrealistic. I don't think it's wise of us to try to change so many things. So I'm gonna go with that back four, midfield of Partey, Rice, and Odegaard, and then a front three of Martinelli, Havertz, and Trossard. I started Sterling last game. He didn't do anything particularly brilliant, and I think he probably should have scored. He should have scored one goal, absolutely, and he just looked a little bit sloppy and short of confidence on the ball, short of sharpness. And that's expected when you've played such few minutes and he hasn't really had a chance to play consistently. But still, Leandro Trossard got that huge goal to win the game for us against Tottenham, of course. And I would love to see Trossard redeem himself for his miss against Villa at home last season. Sterling did well defensively, and his work rate was good at times. He also had a few moments where he looked a little bit lazy, mainly just with a couple of offsides and whatnot. I don't want to nitpick or anything, but I would like to see Sterling come off the bench. I think he could still be an effective player off the bench, but I think realistically, that's our strongest available 11 to go with. Um, so, I think we're going to need a big game from Jakub Kivior. He's got to step up. We can't afford any more individual errors. I forgot to mention for Kivior too, the back pass against Bournemouth. Yikes. So yeah, it's not been a great season for Kivior, but again, you need to rely on these guys to step up when they're needed, especially in a when our fixture congestion is so dense. And other than that, I mean, I'm a broken record at this point, but we just need Kai Havertz to snap out of this slump because we're really being held back by his lack of finishing right now. And I think I said it last video, but I've never seen a player who's more reliant on confidence than him. And that's not a good thing, he really needs to snap out of this. And so a goal for him would be massive, even an assist, just something, an involvement where he helps us do something positive in the final third. Other than that, there's not much else to say, but to win it, Villa is a fast, exciting team. I think the midfield battle is going to be pretty crucial. I remember last game, at Villa, Morgan Rogers bullied us. I mean, like, he was running Rice and Partey ragged, and in general, he was carving us open. So we're going to have to be really careful about Morgan Rogers more than anyone, I think. His physicality, his speed on the ball, his decision making. He's a great player. So we can't afford to be caught lacking there, especially with Jakub Kivior, potentially starting. Yeah, So I'll leave it at that. Not too much to say other than that. I think I'm going to the game tomorrow, so I'll be making I'll be providing my thoughts afterwards, as always. So wherever you're watching from tomorrow, bring the energy, and let's hope that we can get those 3 points. So yeah, I'll speak to you all soon. Come on, you Gunners. Peace.